One of the most popular work permit programs that you can apply for to work in Canada under your own existing company or a company you have been working for overseas, which also has a branch or subsidiary inside Canada. Today we're covering the Intra Company Transfer program, most frequently asked questions. This is not for the corporate intercompany transfer, but mainly for the new branch setup ICT applicants. Quick introduction, who am I? I'm Reza from Ingwe, licensed immigration firm and practitioner, and our office specializes in helping businesses and people move across borders. Is this what I do for a living all day long? Of course not. I'm not an actual full-time YouTuber, but I work hands-on with our licensed team here in Canada, working on actual applications and communicating with immigration departments, both inside Canada and overseas embassies on a daily basis, representing our clients and some of our B2B partners' clients. If you're thinking about immigrating, we're here to help. Get a free email assessment for eligible applicants by filling out the form down below. And of course, if you're an active immigration practitioner, we'd be happy to assist you with outsourcing your back office operations. Frequently asked questions and answers for this very popular LMIA exempt work permit program called the Intra Company Transfer. First question, which type of intercompany transfers are possible? One type of ICT is if you already have an ongoing branch or subsidiary in Canada and overseas and to want to move staff over, whether managers, specialized knowledge staff, whatever it is. We call that the corporate ICT, which is pretty straightforward and is not scrutinized as much by the IRCC since the operations inside Canada are already ongoing and it's not a new operation. The second type of ICT or intercompany transfer is the new branch setup, which is mainly for companies overseas who do not have an existing operation inside Canada and want to set up a subsidiary, branch, or affiliate here. For the purposes of this video, the question and answers are customized and catered towards the second type of ICT applicants, not the corporate ones. Number two, which LMI exempt code should you use to apply for your intercompany transfer work permit? Now it's between C61, C62, and C63. If you do not have operations inside Canada yet, you will have to use C61 LMI exemption code. And if you have existing operations inside Canada and are moving staff over from overseas entities, you can use C62 for managers and executives and C63 LMI exempt code for specialized knowledge staff. Keep in mind, if you're from a country which does have bilateral agreements specifically for intercompany transfer, you will use a specific code that's outlined by IRCC for that specific country for intercompany transfer. Number three, do you need to own the company overseas to be able to use the intercompany transfer program? No, you can be an employee or an eligible position who is officially being paid by the main controlling headquarters overseas. The payments can be either payroll, management fees, or dividends. You do not need to be a shareholder of a company to be able to apply for a work permit under the intercompany transfer program. Should the overseas company planning to set up a new branch in Canada be profitable? If you're planning to apply as a new branch set up inside Canada, the money has to come from somewhere. An investment for the new branch setup, right? And it cannot come from the individual themselves, even if you own 100% of the business. Therefore, the answer to the question is yes, the company overseas needs to be profitable, or at some point in the recent years being so profitable that it has large cash reserves in case it was not profitable in this past financial year. Can you apply for the intercompany transfer without initially visiting Canada? Of course, it's possible. Whether you're approved or not depends on the following criteria, which I'm going to outline in this answer. The following points are for new branch setup applicants only for intercompany transfer in terms of key factors which will make the difference between being approved or refused for your application if you haven't done a visit to the country. A, are you from a visa exempt country? Are your operations already ongoing in the new branch that you set up inside Canada, maybe remotely? Do you have ongoing transactions with Canadian customers or suppliers which are financially justifiable to set up a branch here? Do you have a joint venture partner in Canada for the new branch or subsidiary? Are you from a high volume or high refusal country applying under the intercompany transfer? You do not need all these 5 points I just mentioned, but these are the factors that will make the difference between your refusal or approval if you did not enter Canada yet and you're randomly applying for an intercompany transfer. If you've never visited Canada and are a small or medium-sized business owner and not from a visa-exempt country, your chances of approval might be 50% at best if you don't have everything set up or have had a visit to Canada, which is why we ask our clients to come and do their research, set up the branch, the bank account, and so forth before we apply for the intercompany transfer. And of course, we do assist our business immigration clients with their initial visitor visa if required. What are the key eligibility criteria to be able to apply under the intercompany transfer work permit program? There are 6 key factors to know when you're applying for our new branch setup under the ICT program. A, the controlling stake of the new entity inside Canada should be the same as the overseas headquarters. The initial person, whether key staff or manager or director, has to have been paid for at least 1 year out of the last 3 years from the overseas headquarters or main branch. If you do not have proof of payment, that person is not eligible to apply. The overseas entity has to be ongoing and operational during the entire time the work permit is valid and the new branch is being set up inside Canada. The overseas entity needs to be profitable and have decent amount of staff on payroll. If you're not profitable, then where are the funds for the investment going to come from? There should be no mention or intentions for permanent immigration within your ICT framework. IRCC notices any hint that the true intentions are not for the business expansion, but rather for immigration, your application can easily be refused. The most important aspect of this is to have a strong business case for your intercompany transfer application. And last point, if you're not from a country which has a bilateral agreement with Canada, then you need to prove significant social, cultural, or economic benefit for Canada with your application. Watch this video posted on our YouTube called Significant Benefit. If you need more ideas or crash course of what all this means in case you're not from a bilateral agreement country and applying under the intercompany transfer. Remember, we're always posting about these key details for IRCC's business and investment programs and other immigration programs for professionals and entrepreneurs. And if that's what you're interested in, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel for more deep dive videos. 7. How long will the work permit be valid for under the intercompany transfer program? Well, it's typically valid for 1 year if you're planning to set up a brand new branch or subsidiary, and then it can be renewed for 2-year durations after the first year if you've actually invested and set up the operations as per your initial application. If you have an ongoing branch already operational inside Canada, the duration can be longer for your first application. What are the processing times for intercompany transfer work permit applications? Well, processing times from US, Europe, and Israel are anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. From India, it can be up to 4.5 months, sometimes shorter. In Turkey, it can be anywhere from 2 to 4.5 months, depending on your nationality when you're applying through that embassy. And in the UAE or GCC, this is longer and typically starts with 4 months or higher at least. In Africa, you can expect anywhere from 2.5 months up to 6 months or more, depending on the country you're in Africa. Many Latin American countries, this can be 2-3 months. From Japan and Korea, processing times are also super fast, within a few weeks. In Vietnam and China, you can expect longer processing times of an average of at least 3.5 months or more in certain cases. How many staff can you transfer to Canada from overseas under the intercompany transfer program? For a new startup branch under the intercompany transfer program, you can transfer 1 key staff in the initial 12 months. If you ramp up your operations by the first year, you can potentially be eligible to apply for more overseas transfers to Canada as long as the number of Canadian staff on payroll are more than the number of foreign workers you're planning to bring in from overseas. This is a delicate ratio and you should be careful and prepare in advance. Here's an important clarification and bonus tip. The Intercompany Transfer Program is not a direct permanent residency program for Canadian immigration. In order to obtain your permanent residency program through the Intercompany Transfer Program, you will either need to combine it with a provincial nominee program in Canada or with express entry. It is possible. You just need to plan ahead and know which province to utilize if you want to do PNP and not express entry. Express entry can be done anywhere outside of Quebec. Our favorite provinces to convert ICT clients through PNP are Alberta and New Brunswick. If you're thinking about immigrating permanently or temporarily, you're at the right place. I can guarantee you only one point. You'll know what to expect, the entire process clearly laid out for you, and all the risks identified, including costs. Our team speaks over 9 languages, and we help applicants from over 50 different countries during their immigration process. Click the link below this video to get a free email assessment for eligible applicants for the programs that we're covering. If you're ready to apply and you want a one-on-one session with me or any of my licensed immigration team members, you can also book a session directly using the consultation link included in the description below this video. And of course, if you want to take our immigration knowledge for a test drive before you book the one-on-one consultation, then you can tune in our YouTube live channel every Thursday, 11 a.m. North America Eastern Standard Time, where we answer all of your immigration questions for free on the spot. See you next Thursday.